So we're ready to mix our concrete for the body of the Biosand filter. So we use 12 litres of cement. We then have 12 litres of the gravel that's in the range 6 to 12 millimetres, or quarter inch to half inch. Then we have 12 litres of the gravel that's in the range 1 millimetre to 6 millimetres, or 0.04 inches to quarter inch. So basically sand up to the small gravel. And then we have 24 litres of sand, which is less than 1 millimetre, or less than 0.04 inches. This mix is quite a rich mix in terms of the cement that's in there, and that provides us quite a good factor of safety if we have some errors, if the water's not super clean, if we haven't got the best gravel, the best washed sand. It gives us a factor of safety. So then we're going to make the concrete. Okay, so we have our three sand gravel materials here. This is the 6 to 12 millimetre gravel, which we've sieved and prepared. This is the 1 millimetre to 6 millimetre gravel. And this is the sand. The sand is less than 1 millimetre. So we're going to combine these along with the cement in order to make our concrete body. Okay, so we have quite easy to remember quantities here. It's 12, 12, 12, 24. But how do we know how much is 12 litres? So a bucket like this is 20 litres, or just under 20 litres. It's about 19 point something. But what we can do is we can measure 12 litres using a measure that we know into a larger container like the bucket, and then we mark it. So we know that anything that we pour into there up to a certain mark is 12 litres. So I'll demonstrate that. This is a 2 litre jug. We know it's 2 litres. It's been checked. So we're going to take 6 of these. We're going to pour it into here, and then we're going to look to see what the level is, and we're going to mark it. So we can mark it with a pen. We can mark it with some tape. We could cut with a chisel, something like that. But we then know the volume inside the bucket. So 2. So that's 12 litres. We know we put pretty much 12 litres in there. And now we can mark the outside of the bucket. And we know that up to this level, here is 12 litres. So whatever we put in there, whether it's water, whether it's cement, whether it's the other gravel, we know that that's a 12 litre measure. So we've prepared our materials. We marked all the buckets to the 12 litre mark, and then we filled them. So here we have the sand, two buckets with 12 litres inside, so it gives us 24 litres of the sand. We have the smaller gravel, 1 to 6 millimetre gravel here, again up to the mark, 12 litres. 6 to 12 millimetre gravel here. And then we have 12 litres of our cement in this one here. So we're ready to start. One thing I'll mention is that the 12, 12, 12, 24 is the correct volume of concrete for a correctly made mould, if it's made exactly to the specifications. Often what happens when people are making moulds is it can be a little bit larger, a little bit smaller. It doesn't make a big difference, but it does make a difference to the volume of concrete that you need. So sometimes, if you follow this formula, you might not have quite enough to fill the mold if it's a little bit larger inside. Sometimes you might have a little bit too much. So as you practice and as you start to use the molds, you'll get to know what the volume is of each mold. And they'll all be a little bit different, but then you'll learn that as you go. So maybe you decide that, in fact, with this particular mold, it's 13, 13, 13, 26. But you just adjust the volumes to match the amount of concrete required to fill a particular mold. So we're just going to mix our concrete on the floor here. Some people will mix on inside a wheelbarrow, or they'll find other ways to do it. Some people may have a concrete mixer, which makes life easy. But we're just going to mix on the floor. It's a nice solid surface, and yeah, it should make it fairly easy for us. So we've got a 6 to 12 millimeter gravel. We've got the 1 to 6 millimeter gravel. We've got 2 buckets, 12 litres each of our sand, which makes 24 litres. The sand is a bit wet, but that's okay. So that's our pile of materials. We're going to just mix it up a little bit to begin with, just to mix it dry. We haven't added the cement just yet, so we just want to mix it through. And so mix that sand in. Now we'll just add the cement. And then we're going to, again, we're just going to mix the cement through, get all the sand and the gravel and cement mixed together before we add the water. Okay, so one method for easing the mixing of concrete is to use gravity as your assistant. So what we do is we start with a pile of our mix here, and then we're going to transfer it to the side, and then we're going to transfer it back, and we're going to do that 4 times. So there's 1 time, and now we're going to move it back, just in the same process. Okay, so we've mixed the concrete, we've done this transfer backwards and forwards, and now we're going to add the water. So in the manual, what you'll see is that the range suggested for the amount of water to add to this quantity of concrete is 7 to 10 litres. So the quantity will actually depend on a number of things. How wet the material is to start with. With this one we have quite damp sand, so there's already moisture in the mix. If it's very, very dry, you might need to add a little bit extra water. So we'll start with about 7 litres, and we'll go from there. So we've created this well in the middle of the mix, so that we can pour water in without having it run off, taking all the cement away. So we're going to add a little bit of water, and we're going to start to mix. So we've added some water, we've mixed it in, we still need to add a bit more, so we'll just put it back into the well in the middle and gradually bring it into the mix. Okay, so the mix is starting to come together now, so we can do the same process we did earlier, where we just transfer the pile from here to here, using gravity as our friend, and then we'll bring it back and forwards 4 times, so that will help just to get everything mixed together nicely. So that's our concrete mixed pretty well. We did the transfer backwards and forwards. The amount of water that's in here looks about right. We can now use this to start filling the concrete mold. In one of the other videos, we'll show a slump test, and that's a test that we can do to make sure that the amount of water that's added is about right to make the concrete easy to work with.